It's the 3rd day of January, 2024. And it's a nice, cool, sunny day. Yesterday was kind of cloudy. And you hear the birds chirping. They're out getting some sunshine because we had some stormy weather too. So over around New Year's or just before New Year's, I guess the day of New Year's wasn't too stormy. It's just been we had some windy weather, and then we had some rain, and we had just a lot of cloudiness. So today is a nice sunny day, and the little animals like that, you can hear the squirrels chirping and the birds chirping. But a lot of little birdies getting out and getting some sunshine, trying to find something to eat. It's a good day for getting food, but it's all part of one real grand thing that nobody can fully explain. Everybody wants to have an explanation. It's like we all, as you get older especially, I think people, and then maybe when you get real old, you just kind of give up on trying to understand what the purpose of life is. But I think, I don't know, people go through different phases, and a lot of those phases are similar through life for different people. But nobody I've ever heard, and I think it's supposed to be this way, has a perfect explanation for what life is and why it is what it is. But it definitely, as we are growing and we're young, but we have an opportunity to establish within ourselves a sense of connection. That's your own personal connection with it all, and that kind of then also then connects your personal connection, sort of then interconnects you with other people's personal connections to the whole thing, nature and life and God and that sort of thing. And that's what we kind of call spirituality, or the spirit. The spirit is the thing that we can't really touch or explain very well, but it's that energy that's through us and through the universe, and our connection with a higher being, with God, and that's very important to establish that, because it's not just there's a reason for why humanity has had that for out through humanity. It's not an invention. It's something that we naturally experience, and in certain times and in certain people's lives, and the certain things that we know can happen to people when they're young, and especially those things can get suppressed in the brain, that the area of the brain that develops this wonderful connection and openness to spiritual world can be kind of underdeveloped. And I believe that later in life it continues to develop, and I believe you see people who go through transformations and that sort of thing. So I don't think all hope is lost, but there's no reason to purposely try to deny that when you're young, because there's so much, not only just knowing within your heart that it's a better life when you feel connected in a positive way with the things around you and your relationship with God, and that's that part of it. But we also know in a practical sense too that there's real, like, societal benefits from that as well. People who have a good spiritual, inner compass, they are able to direct themselves away from lots of what we would call antisocial things that hurt one another, and they have a much more and positive impact on the people around them, but also on preserving their own self, and they're doing of the things that are meaningful to them, whatever it might be, occupations or hobbies and interactions with other people. It comes as part of naturally living, rather than having to feel as though you have to do those things to impress somebody or to get the acknowledgement from somebody. And that's a really hard thing to have to deal with through life, that if you have to feel like everything that you do and are those things make you who you are, or if that you got to do those things in order to get respect from people. That's not the way the world is supposed to be. I mean, your actions and behaviors and how you interact with the world and treat people is really how we should gain respect. But unfortunately, as a society becomes more, every different society, poor societies have their problems, rich societies have their problems. But particularly as societies become, like the Western world, become rich, so to speak, there tends to be a shift, and this has been studied, towards putting more and more emphasis on kind of the material gains of people. And I don't know, you can try to explain why that is, but obviously when you look at media, it's kind of easy to see that it's a much easier sell. It's a popular thing in media to put the emphasis on some sort of characterization of an individual, rather than really what the individual really does in a spiritual sense. And you can put the emphasis on, it's much easier and much more eye-catching and grabbing normally to put the emphasis on the materialism of the individual. And so that certainly reinforces that idea, and we got to be careful about that. And hey, it's media, it's television, it's social media, it's this and that and the other, and it's part of the world we're in. It's give and take. There's good and bad, but you have to use your own mental development, your own heart compass, to be able to understand that and say, hey, just because it's popular and it's this and that and the other, it doesn't mean that you have to follow it or believe in it. You can completely dismiss it, which is often the best thing to do. But if you must indulge, then at least you can indulge in it with the understanding that it's kind of fake and it's just for entertainment, and it's certainly not the way to measure life and the value of life. Life is a much more valuable and precious thing than what some media personality wants you to sell you on so they can make money. So, in your youth, and that's just when you're young like you are now, and up through your teen years and in your early 20s, that's all kind of your youth. You're going to start getting into, it's a progression. So, there's a transition that really starts to occur in your late teens and your 20s, and it's a mental thing. It's actual. It's not just some sort of mystical thing. There's actually, measurable things that are happening and changing, and the way that our mind perceives and develops and grows. But so when you're young, you really want to not be discouraged by those people around you from seeking out your spiritual development. If you can be around people who have a positive impact in that way, then that's good. But if you can't, or you're in some mix of that, which is most people, you just got to take it upon yourself to know that it's important to do that, despite what anybody else wants to tell you or make you believe or try to make you believe. You don't have to follow other people because who want to dismiss that part of life. That's it's not only is it something that we just know within us and humanity has had for thousands and thousands of years, but there's also extremely powerful research data that shows how important that can be for guiding people and helping people to get back on the good path. We're all going to make mistakes, but that's that thing that gets us back on a good path. And if you don't develop it when you're young, it's a lot of challenges to develop it more when you're older. So that if you give up on development as you get older, it's just do it when you're young, just like you want to learn your skills in school of math and science and English and language and all these other things. The spiritual development too. It's sort of like the hub. It's like the center, and everything else branches out from that. It really helps guide your life. So it's a new year. It's a good time to think about these things. I love you.